Once upon a time, there was a Chinese farmer who lost a horse, ran away. And all the neighbors came around that evening and said, "That's too bad." And he said, "Maybe." The next day, the horse came back and brought 7 wild horses with it. And all the neighbors came around and said, "Why, that's great, isn't it?" And he said, "Maybe." The next day, his son was attempting to tame one of these horses and was riding it and was thrown and broke his leg. And all the neighbors came round in the evening and said, "Well, that's too bad, isn't it?" And the farmer said, "Maybe." And the next day, the conscription officers came around looking for people for the army, and they rejected his son because he had a broken leg. And all the neighbors came round that evening and said, "Isn't that wonderful?" And he said, "Maybe."
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome to Zen Farmer.
Hey guys, it's Kurt and Jen, CRSs of the Clearfield Jefferson Drug and Alcohol Commission, welcoming you to our 4th taping of the podcast.
And we have a very special guest today.
Guys, we are so excited to introduce to you one of our best friends in this recovery community we're so blessed to be a part of, Miss Terry Hinton.
Hi, Jen. Hi, Kurt.
Terry, thank you so much for joining us today. Your presence is always insurmountable, and we're just so happy to have you. So excuse me for, my awkwardness and being weird about it, but we always look forward to seeing you, and we're very happy to have you on.
We're honored to have you here with us today.
Well, the honor is mine. It's definitely my pleasure to be here today.
So do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, Terry?
Sure. Where do I begin? I guess I'll start with, I grew up in this area in North Central PA, and I'm the oldest of 8 kids in my family. And once I was able to get off and go to school and kind of leave the area, I chose counseling as my profession of choice. And I think the relevance to what you all do so well and splendidly is really about my wanting initially to kind of help my own family grow, because there were issues with substance use in my own family growing up. And so I always thought, well, how can I help my own family, and then in part then helping others in the community. So I went on for counseling and had a lovely career, despite a lot of my own recovery issues along the way. You know that when you choose a field such as counseling, sometimes there's a lot of your own personal growth that you really have to go through before you can successfully help other people. And so I was able to do some work in the community, work with careers and the college students, and in kind of that realm first. I decided that I would work in career development, and that kind of allowed me to take an opportunity to work with many beautiful colleges and universities with helping young people find careers. But it was really about helping them personally. That was the most appealing and the most rewarding to me. And as a result, I would always hear about individuals and their stories coming from their own families. At one college that I worked at, I guess I could probably say it was Penn State, I was able to assist in a recovery group that was being formed to help the students in recovery kind of talk about their experiences and how to help remove some of those barriers. After about 20 years, I'm aging myself here, in career counseling, I moved to workforce development because I wanted to really figure out a way that I could help those in the community of North Central who might not have an opportunity to go to school, who really needed some more help and were really more in the rural area And so I went and got my master's, my second master's at Penn State in workforce development. And I was hired on by a college, the Northern Pennsylvania Regional College, and I did work as a workforce development specialist for a couple of years. And then I had a beautiful opportunity to move where I am now with the Workforce Board Agency for North Central PA. And we're one of 22 workforce development boards in the state. And our particular workforce board, we work with individuals, employers, and job seekers in 6 counties in North Central PA. And those counties are Elk, Cameron, McKean, Potter, Clearfield, Jefferson, and Cameron. And so in this work with my fellow staff members and my director, we really try to help bring in grant funding for employers and also for job seekers who are usually those with barriers. And we also serve the CareerLink. We provide support services. We provide funding, policy, and oversight so they can really do the work that is so important to the job seekers in our region. And they do a fantastic job. I just can't say enough about the PA CareerLink and the staff that do work there. But about 3 years ago, my director and I said, you know what, we had an announcement about the Appalachian Regional Commission was requesting proposal for a grant from workforce board agencies and others who could really do some kind of large scale work around servicing people in the area, not only employers to help destigmatize the idea of hiring workers in recovery, but also working with the actual job seekers through funding that would provide them supportive services and training and opportunities that they might not otherwise have. Even though the CareerLink staff has always been there working with this population, this was a way to really focus and target and put emphasis on individuals who we could provide more work and more opportunities and training. So, now we're 2.5 years later into this project. It's one of my passion projects amongst the 50,000 other things that we do as a workforce board staff. But it not only helps me heal and reminds me every day of my own personal needs for recovery, but it really, above and beyond that, hopefully is making a difference in growing an ecosystem in our community with partners such as you beautiful people. So I don't know if you wanted me to go on and on like that, but that's kind of the background.
Terry, yes, we do. Thank you.
It was beautiful.
There you have it, folks. So not only is Terry absolutely qualified in terms of her experience and her knowledge of this recovery to employment pipeline, the projects she's able to put together, really reaching out to the community. It's not like you have to find her, but she's the one working with all these individuals and employers, different agencies to get the word out. And like she had mentioned, to kind of break the stigma about hiring folks in recovery. We know that they're awesome workers. Sometimes they need a little push to get them in that position to want to do better for themselves. And again, and Terry's qualified in terms of the amount of compassion that she has simply because she's lived through this herself and has wanted, like most of us, to want to push forward and to develop a stronger community, whether you're in recovery or not. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Terry. Thank you for joining us today.
You're very welcome. It's my honor again.
No, we're so happy to have you. And again, just hearing you talk about, seeing people grow and be able to accomplish things that they didn't think that they were able to do. Mm-hmm. And that's why we continue to do this. Mm-hmm. There's nothing more rewarding than that. And again, the work you do, it touches so many people. I know people that this program has certainly helped. Mm-hmm. And they're moving forward in their recovery and working towards a career that they feel they were never able to achieve before. Mm-hmm. And it's life-changing. And reaching out to employers, again, and advocating for people like us is just absolutely beautiful. And again, we're breaking that stigma. Mm-hmm. And it's changing our culture, and I love that, and it's really great to be a part of that.
I'm really fortunate to find the partners like you guys and also many others, but Jennifer in particular, you're from the very beginning, your work on the advisory committee. And I probably should say the title of this program for the listeners out there that might want to know. The title of our project is called our ARC Prosper from Recovery to Career. And this project would not be possible without all of our partners at Clearfield Jefferson Drug and Alcohol, like Jennifer and Kurt and their directors and their team, but also Alcohol Drug Abuse Services and a lot of other social service agencies and mental health agencies, which are really too many to mention individually. But one of the things that's really important that I feel there's still so much work to be done is that the CareerLink staff themselves are trained to work with job seekers with multiple barriers. They are constantly provided professional development to really grow their skills, to find employment that is customized for the people that walk into their particular centers. I have a person at each CareerLink location who is a ARC team member, who is really the contacts who receive the referrals from all of our partner agencies to work with the individuals who come to them. It's not a perfect system because, as we know, when we're in recovery, we have all these great intentions on day one, and then the next day something will happen. So it's so cyclical, but we have been able to provide, I think, some really good services that will continue beyond the life of this grant. That's always been my number one when we started doing this, is what is the potential beyond the life of the grant? Is it going to continue to bring in the referrals? And I hope that through, some of the training that the PA CareerLink staff have received, that they have learned and grown and kind of considered this an area of passion. More recently, a close sister grant that we applied for as a workforce board agency. And keep in mind, my director will apply for 10, 15 grants a year. So this is one of many grants that we have, but we did apply recently for a reentry grant to work with youth. And we have a mentor who's helping serve this population in the community for youth, but also reentry, coming right out of incarceration or who are incarcerated and are about to be released. And I know that you all work with that group as well as those in the CareerLink already, but we do have Joe Dagger doing some mentoring services for the youth reentry grant that's kind of providing some parallel and some filling in some gaps of some real immediate need to getting some individuals the coaching and help that they need. So it's constantly growing, constantly more work to be done, and it's about just continue to kind of tweak some of the things that we need to tweak to make these programs better.
God bless you, Terry. Thank you so much. I mean, the experience that Jen and I have, we talk about these guys a lot because we love them. They're our homies. Visiting the Jefferson County Jail, and oftentimes, we're at a loss for words because we would like to see so much more to be able to come for these guys. And just hearing that you're able to work with the youth on this project and to give these younger folks a head start in their lives, to provide them with that sense of knowing that there are these resources available. Because I think back to when I was younger and way before I had even considered recovery and even into my recovery, just not being familiar with this sort of thing. And maybe I had a stigma about it too, right? But it's plain to see that this work is extremely important within our communities, and that you're able to grasp such a huge network of different agencies that are all working together is truly something that's very beautiful.
Well, and we have so many other agencies that are doing this work too with us, and I guess even in greater ways. Sinclair, the Armstrong Clarion Recovery Community Hub. We're co-sponsoring a certified coaching academy that's coming to St. Mary's the week of May 6th through the 10th. But I suppose I should probably give a phone number out there for people who might want to be contacting the CareerLink staff just to say, hey, I heard about this thing on the podcast called Prosper, and I want to make contact. I want to go back to school. We have monies to send you to school. We have monies to provide you mileage reimbursement. It's not like all inclusive, but it's going to help definitely get people started. So
an additional resource to help these folks out. All right, guys, get your pens ready.
And it's 1-844-722-2546. And that is the PA CareerLink. And it's this long menu of options, and you'd have to press the menu link that gets you to the site that's closest to you. But it's 1-844-722-2546.
Thank you for that information, Terry.
Yeah, Terry, that's awesome. I love too that you're working with reentry. So many times, like Kurt said, we go in and we meet, we have relapse prevention groups in Jefferson County Jail, and a lot of them, they're leaving, they don't have a place to live, they don't have employment, and they're scared.
Right.
So we really want to support them as they come out to lay that firm foundation of recovery, and employment is certainly one of those things. And we want them to be able to work in a healthy atmosphere too, that's supportive to their recovery. A lot of people too, they have requirements that they have to have for probation. Perhaps they have to attend intensive outpatient 3-4 times a week, which takes up a little chunk of their day. Finding employers that are willing to work around that, it can be a challenge as well. So thank you for that.
There's so many steps when somebody is released, that housing and transportation are huge. All contacts for that person might have been gone. So, our staff is at the CareerLink trained to try to help refer to the agencies that can provide the greatest and most immediate need. And sometimes, while employment is really a purposeful reason to stay sober and live the life that you want to live, it's, there's steps to take before you can even get to that point.
Sure.
And so, yeah. So thank you for the work that you do in your prevention groups to help. One more tool, one more program, right?
Happy to be a part of it, right? Another aspect of wanting to do the podcast was just to get this information out to the common listener who might know somebody or even if it's them themselves that have this trouble with locating employment, maybe not knowing how to navigate some of these systems, because not many of us do, right? But guys, the help is available. You heard Terry say, plenty of grants being proposed and accepted on a regular basis. There's also all kinds of projects that Terry is happy to be a part of, including this awesome Job and Recovery Expo that we were happy to be invited to last year, and to have employers sit right beside folks in recovery so that we can all learn about this together as a community, and just in the aspect of wanting to further this knowledge and to become more comfortable with the idea that yes, people use drugs and substances, but it doesn't have to be forever. We want to make the steps to make our lives better. And when you're faced with your conscience telling you like continue to do this work, but then the drugs are telling you continue to use these drugs. Well, folks, what can we say other than simply just be able to be at that helping hand and to want to help each other. Terry, so in the beginning of our introduction, you had mentioned that this was a personal matter for you. If you'd like to care to speak on that at all.
Sure. Well, beyond what I said about growing up in my own family, that there were certainly some issues around excessive, I would say, alcohol use at the time. I did end up getting married when I left this area. I moved to Florida for 19 and a half years, and I met my husband of my 2 beautiful adult children at this point. And he struggled with alcoholism. He started drinking when he was like 14.
Sure.
And I remember the flags were there when we talked about getting married, because we had dated for a while, broke up, and then got together 5 years later. I must have thought I was getting old or something. I was,
Right.
barely 31 or 32 at the time. But at the time, I was like, I think he drinks too much, but maybe when we get married and have kids, it will stop. Well, that didn't happen, right? And the situation progressed, because alcoholism is progressive. So with many years, and this man is a beautiful man, and he did pass, and I'm very sad about that. But for many years we tried rehab. I would go to Al-Anon, I'd drag my kids with me to Al-Anon, and I don't regret any of my decisions. I just feel like, what could I have done more maybe to support my ex-husband at the time? But I knew what I knew. I did the best I could at the time, and I can rest easy with that.
Right.
I have 2 beautiful adult children who don't live in the area, but they live outside this area in the big city of New York. And they are doing really well, despite some of the things that they've seen growing up. And I also am blessed to have 2 beautiful stepchildren from my second husband, who lives locally and has been a great support for all the stuff that has gone on in my life and continues to go on, from the past. But so really it's just a continuing recovery for my own self and for my children. And I think for most people who have some sort of recovery issue, whether that's mental health or whether that's drug and alcohol, it hits all of us. It hits most of us. And it's just a matter of willingness to put one foot in front of the other. Some days are better than others. You 2 are the model that you're like my inspiration every day. When I think, what would Jenn do? What would Kurt do today?
Little old us.
So I think that for me personally, my professional life has helped me kind of stay on the straight and narrow myself, to keep myself moving. And also my own children have been a huge part of keeping me motivated to just keep going one day after the next, keep moving forward. So
Thank you, Terry.
Thank you for sharing, Terry. I can certainly relate to a lot of your story too. I also grew up in an alcoholic home, and my first marriage, we were both using together, and then I got into recovery, and he struggled, and we finally divorced, but we have a beautiful daughter together as well. And yes, it's when you're on that side of it, you do feel even almost more powerless than the addict feels, the alcoholic. And we feel everything. I think for me, that's when it really came full circle for me. I'm grateful for that experience, because the helplessness I felt watching someone I love destroy themselves and not being able to stop it, even though I understood, because I had been that person, but it helped me understand what I put my family through. And I don't know, I think again, all these experiences make us more equipped to help our fellow man. And pouring ourselves into our work. Like, I come to work every day, and it's not like work for me. It's that, and that's amazing.
I'm so happy for you.
It really takes a lot to be able to want to communicate that with somebody and with our peers. I can't thank you enough for sharing that experience with us, because in my mind, it was me personally, right? But I've since learned that it's also our families and the people around us that suffer along with us, as it is a community ailment, right? I don't know where to begin with thanking my wife and for my family to stick through when they could see something through the shielded glass that I couldn't see for myself. And it required those people to remind me and to keep me on track, that there was more to look forward to when I was just impossible for me to see any other way. So again, my lovely wife of now 9 years this June, I'm so blessed to have her. For I would ask her, like, are you still okay with this? Like, are you still okay? How could you continue to want to do something like this? But she never wavered in that. And I can't say that now. I kind of look back on it like maybe that was enabling or something of that behavior. But I think that I was offering more to the table than I let myself was able to see anyway. Excuse me. So that gave me the motivation to want to be that person that I think that she saw. And granted, I think I've talked about this in every episode now, but the kids that I was able to now father and be so happy that to have was the motivation that I needed too. And she knew well enough that that wasn't going to happen as long as I was using. But, we both wanted it. We just wanted it under the healthiest terms that we could have. Just my spit once again, guys. Thank you.
Oh, I'm so glad you shared.
You guys are having a really
Kurt.
lovely moment, and I don't know. I just injected, but thanks for listening.
It's a beautiful story.
Thank
and
you,
it's
Terry.
it just brings tears to my eyes when you talk about it. It's such a lovely love story
Thank
really.
You. Well, I keep in mind that these are the things that I was not wanting to talk about, right?
Mm-hmm.
We'll say it again, the stigma of wanting to keep withheld all these feelings and emotions. And this is what we're all here for today, is to remind folks that it's okay and that we are here together. Entering services 10 years ago wasn't what it looks like today, almost.
Right.
How quickly things have progressed in terms of just reaching out and being there for each other.
Thank goodness, right?
And I think what we're talking about right now too is the healing. I don't think we talk enough about healing. I think we tend to focus on, as a community, we focus on the sickness. Well, now we're talking about the healing. And as a community, again, like Kurt said, this is a community ailment. This is a problem that we need to start moving. And I see it more and more where we're moving more in a healing direction. And it supports such as Terry's organization, such as our organization, and so many others out there that are really driving the way. And I don't know, I'm really grateful to be a part of that. And the healing is so beautiful, watching families heal as we get better. And I just want everybody to have that opportunity. Again, people coming out of jail, youth, those two populations that you're really focusing on right now is so vital. We had my daughter on Friday, and she was talking a lot about her experience growing up, one, with a mom in recovery, but two, even with her own struggles and with her peers, and trying to find where she fits in this world. Again, we just need to keep reaching out and let people know that it's safe to talk about these things. I know for me, early in recovery especially, I was all clammed up. I was afraid to even talk about how I was feeling, let alone talk to, an agency about helping me. I'd pretty much have to have a gun to my head to do that. I mean, I was terrified. But we just want people to know that it is safe to reach out, that we're here to help you, that we care. This isn't just a job for us. Right. We care.
Speaking of the job and the lifestyle and the passion that you guys have for your work as certified recovery specialists, I should probably at this time put in a shameless plug for the program.
Please do.
We do have, through this grant, one of the most successful outcomes is that we've been able to train many like Jenn and Kurt, maybe not as wonderful as Jenn and Kurt, but nonetheless, we have trained many certified recovery specialists over the last 2.5 years. And we have another training coming up. If you are in recovery and you want to help others, like Jennifer and Kurt and many others in this role as certified recovery specialists, we have a training coming up in Bradford on March 9th. Like, that's next weekend. We are maybe able to take some more people. at the Maryland Horn Building on March 9th, we're having a no-cost certified recovery specialist training program. If you're interested, do call this number 1-844-722-2546 and ask to speak to an ARC program person who can help you with more information about that. We will offer another CRS training in Jefferson County in September at IUP Punxsutawney's campus.
Yes, folks. If you're unfortunately unable to make this one, Terry's able to be a part of a wonderful group of people that is able to put these trainings on all the time, at least I would say maybe twice a year, if not more. To hop around to different counties and different towns so that we can get people from all different communities to jump aboard. I couldn't suggest a greater role for somebody in recovery than to join the team of the CRS.
That's right. We're the boots on the ground.
Yeah, street level. Meet them where they're at, guys.
That's right.
Oftentimes transportation is available. If you would like to speak on that.
Yeah, one of the supportive services that we can provide for individuals who are in the program is the project does allow for reimbursement for gas that it takes to get to the actual training. In some cases that are individually organized with me, we have been able to provide a special van or another transportation opportunity, but that has to be arranged with me separately. But transportation's key, and many, we don't all have reliable cars. So if you do need reimbursement or you have somebody that can take you, you can reimburse them for the gas that you might need to get to this training. It's once a week, every Saturday for 10 weeks. March 9th, starting March 9th, it will be over May 18th. And the weekend of Easter, there is no training.
Right. See, guys, all that's missing is you. Once you complete the course, it's a quick little examination. Have your certified recovery specialist before June.
Yeah. And there's a lot more even if you didn't want to work at a drug and alcohol treatment or comprehensive facility of some sort, you could work in a hospital. Hospitals are hiring. Whereas somebody just said recently, a certified recovery specialist is being hired. It was a social service agency, but it was one that was kind of on the fringes of what you would expect a certified recovery specialist to be hired for. But more and more agencies are realizing the value of the CRS role.
And I understand even schools too have been open to it as well. Right?
Absolutely.
Plenty of opportunities.
Awesome.
Jen hit the clapping button. Terry's not wearing headphones, so we have to
let her know what's going on. Yeah. But again, there's so many resources available to us. Please take advantage of them. The more we utilize the resources, the more funding I'm sure they'll probably get, the greater impact it'll have on not just our lives, but the community as a whole. Is there anything else anyone would like to add?
Well, again, yeah, guys, we just want to keep doing better for ourselves and better for our community. And thanks to all the support that there is and all of these meaningful programs that we're able to take access of, I see a great tide turning. Like I said, maybe in the last 10 years when I decided I was going to start looking into services, even in the last year, I've seen so much that I otherwise wouldn't have really been exposed to. So, do your part. Let some friends know what's going on. If you're an employer, please, take advantage of Terry's work and everything that we're able to provide. Give these people a chance. I always want to mention Narcan. We want to make sure that that's widely available.
Yeah, it saves so many lives.
Yeah. Julie Pierce-Klotz showed me this awesome sticker. it's punk rock to save lives.
It is.
I can't remember the name of the band. Odd. I'll just destroy it if I try to mention it. But yeah, coolest thing ever. We have on Tuesday, April 9th. Is this employer training?
It's for employers in the area.
Yeah, Terry, if you'd like to speak about that, please do.
Yes, part of our grant project allows us an opportunity to bring in experts in the community, working with employers in the recovery community to help not only dispel myths around recovery, but also, what are the value and benefits of hiring individuals in recovery. So on April the 9th at noon, a virtual seminar is being featured from Derek O'Donnell from the Department of Labor through the Employment and Training Office. He is going to be doing a virtual seminar on work opportunity tax credits for our employers who hire individuals in recovery, as well as other barriered areas. And Derek is somewhat new to his role, but he's phenomenal, and he is so excited to come and talk to our employers in the region about why it's so important for you as an employer to understand about this tax credit you can receive. One of the many benefits, not only the person themselves benefit, but from your business benefit, you need to understand what's available to you. So let me know, and I can be reached at 814-245-1835. That's our work office if you have more questions.
Yeah, and we'll likely put a script in our description of the podcast when we post that. We'll add that phone number, Terry. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Derek's one of the real ones too.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
We need to give people an opportunity. It's vital that we have a purpose in early recovery, and the gratitude we have for given when we're given an opportunity is second to none. It certainly reflects in our work.
All in it together, gang.
Yeah, we are.
It takes more than a village.
More than a village. I like that. It's true.
It takes all of north central Pennsylvania. Okay. Yeah, you got it. Well, folks, before we go today, I'd like to announce some of the upcoming shows that we have planned with other folks in our community. Terry gave us a phone number for someone who wishes to remain anonymous, but we have a success story coming out of one of the many great programs that she's happy to do. We have Sue Brower, I think, will be coming on in a couple of weeks. So yeah, guys, stay tuned, and thank you for all the support and sharing these videos with everybody, for your subscriptions, for your wonderful comments, and all the likes that we get. So we'll keep on the track, gang. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Terry.
Terry, thank you again for being here. It's awesome. It's always a pleasure to see you.
All right, guys. Until next time, this has been
Zen. Said Farmer.
This has been a podcast.
Brought to you by two very awkward people.
Aw, the kitties. Terry, do you have any kitties or puppies you'd like to talk about?
I do not.
Any reptiles, snakes, turtles?
No, no non-people at this point.
Coming up from St. Mary's, was there an elk or anything cool on the drive?
No, I did not see any wildlife on the way.
As the weather gets nicer, we look forward to it. All right, guys.
All right.
We're going to shut it down.
We're signing off.
All right, see you next time. Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.